so much more room in here for activities. Let me show you a little bit of what's going on here. I noticed in the last video of the old Flat Thunder truck that this side of the radiator support not really in place. This side, the mount is completely rusted out. So really what we got here is the radiator is holding the radiator support in place. I think that's a little bit backwards, and that's why we decided to go ahead and replace it. Really thought about repairing these mounts. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it would be a lot of work. It wouldn't really be right, and it would take a lot more time than what it has for me to just get started on the brand new one. So let's strip off the headlights, some of these brackets here. This is an extra transmission cooler that's not even hooked up. Yeah, let's get this thing tore apart. Current situation, yeah, we kind of dropped the radiator support. Luckily we saved our toes, and I don't think we damaged the radiator too bad. Maybe got a little friendly with the fins. This is the driver's side. This is the radiator support. It pretty much stayed with the truck. And this is the passenger side. I removed the top washer, but this one was so rusted out. The bolt nut was there, it just wasn't holding anything. So this one wasn't holding anything, and this one was holding on to this, but just barely. And ultimately, the radiator support portion removed itself. Not looking too promising. So I'm guessing, by the way, the other side came off. There's no way this side with all this gobbledygook on here is going to come off of there. This side actually looks different. I don't even know. This side looks like it's got a steel thing on top here. Maybe I did that? I don't remember. At any rate, this side's going to come off the same way the other side did, aside from the fact that it's different. We're going to cut this top off, slice down, punch it out with the air chisel. Okay. We're gonna give this stuff a go. This is Eastwood's Rust Encapsulator. It says apply directly over surface rust, top coat with almost any paint or use as a top coat. Prevents rust from spreading and penetrates deep and cures fast. That sounds like a whole lot of promises. I don't know if this is gonna work. Like I said, I keep seeing advertisements of it, and what a better thing to try it on than the old Flat Thunder truck. We wanted it to last a long time. Tried to get in there and clean everything up, you know, to a reasonable amount. You can get really carried away with that, and next thing you know, you're taking the cab off and sandblasting parts and all that. So smells funny. Looks better. Cabo that was donated by a viewer, still working great, and definitely the right tool for this job. Thanks. Now we need to get other bolts out. Apparently we missed one. Alright, now all we got is some J-clips on here randomly that are still good that we're going to need, and then the rubber or plastic bumpers for the headlight buckets. It's a better view of what's left. This would be the passenger side. I don't know if the hole was enlarged. This side's better than the driver's side. And just a little bit of rust, surface rust here. So I bought all new hardware, and to be honest with you, it took me a while to figure out exactly how it goes together, and I'm still not 100% sure. So I know this much for sure. This is a jam nut. Well, this is a lock nut. It's kind of a crimp lock nut. Washer. Those items go on the top. We have a shim plate. This larger spacer, this is the old one. I couldn't get these new. And then two flat washers. The part that I know is 100% right is this guy. We have the bolt, a rubber bushing in the bottom, and a rubber bushing on the frame. So this bushing has a steel top. That's what we cut off another one. And then it has a hex shape here. It locks into the mount. So let's get this all silver streaked up. Oops. And then get her put back in there. Oh, this is recommended, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to put some grease on the body mounts here. Keep it from squeaking should it want to, and maybe prevent a little bit of corrosion. I don't know. Sounds good. And this was throwing me for a minute. I thought I was missing a washer because I was trying to put the bolt in like this. It has a steel molded to washer on this side, so undercut side goes towards the mount. And just thread her in. That looks pretty good. Here's our brand new radiator support. So far, this is the only sheet metal component for this restoration that we purchased brand new. I really didn't want to because it's kind of expensive, but relatively speaking, it wasn't too bad. It looks really nice. My mind's telling me repaint it, but as I look at it, the inside cavities are painted. It appears to have a relatively good finish on it. So we're going to roll the dice. We're just going to put it on as is. You guys drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's a better finish than just primer. It doesn't look like the fenders So we're gonna bolt this thing on there, get on down the road. Here we go. I see what's happening here. These have two tabs, a left to right knob, and then a front to back. Well, we got it in here. It's up. This one goes all the way through, and the left to right one, not so much. So I don't know. We didn't stamp the bottom part, or I don't know what that's all about. They want you to drill that. I'm not drilling that. You see, it goes two laminates. Only one on the top. So I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna end up cutting the left to right one off. We're trying to get this radiator support squared up with the chassis and level. The mounting fasteners came with some shims, some optional shims, so you can adjust the height on the mount up and down, left to right if need be. Here's the method to my madness. Dropping stuff. Here's the method to my madness. I have a long piece of wood, relatively straight. This guy is sitting on the mounting horns of the cab for the front fenders. To take a look at the level, gauge how level it is. It's just touching the line. Then I'm going to take my level, I'm going to place it on the radiator support. And it happens to be perfectly level, where that is just barely touching the line on a 4-foot level. So this is extremely close up here. So this should match. We'll see when we put the fenders on. This radiator support should match the cab mounts for the fenders, so we don't end up with a ton of shims. Or at least I hope that's what we're going to end up with. We'll know when we get the fenders on there. Keep in mind the fenders are also replacement fenders too, so they could have some variation in them as well. Front to back, what I did is I measured back to the door panel and gauged the front edge of the radiator support on both sides. I actually did it like this. Use this straight edge here just to bridge across. It's about 47 3/4 there. Same thing on the other side. And then as a double check, I went out to the front here and measured to the frame horns back, and we're about 6 1/4. So as far as I can tell, the radiator support is square this way and level this way, matching the cab, and hopefully everything aligns. Now we can get our radiator bolted in. We tightened the bolts up. Did a little something different there on the bolts. Let me show you. This is the new radiator support. I tried to purchase all new mounting hardware, bolts, rubber bushings, and then all the necessary fasteners and washers and shims and such. This radiator support has this steel, I'm betting it's probably stamped heavy washer. It has this kind of profile in it. I believe that's to allow you to move the radiator support around. They didn't have this available, so I wasn't able to purchase new ones. On the old radiator support, there was only one of them still left. The other one was long gone. The kit came with shims. These are the shims to place underneath the radiator support to adjust it left to right. And then also 2 solid washers, thinner washers to go on top. But I didn't use any of these. I didn't even put this one back in because I only had one of them. I had some heavier 3/16 inch thick washers that were perfect size for this fastener. I'll take you down there and show you what we ended up with. We're just going to keep this shim and these washers and probably this, I don't know. Hopefully we won't need this. We get the fenders on there. If we need to shim it up a little bit, we can loosen this bolt and shove it in between the radiator support and the mount. but I'm pretty sure we're not going to need it. We ended up with, that's a 3/16" thick washer, and the position required for the radiator support, that doesn't hit anything, so we should be good. If we use this guy, this would go on there and it'd give you more adjustment if it didn't center. That way if you had to move it more so this would hit, if it was a normal washer, you got freedom to do so. But we didn't need that, so that's just a nice thick coated washer, I believe zinc plated, and we don't have to use this old rusty thing. And now both sides matched because I have two washers. That's a hardened washer and then the pinch nut that came with the mounting hardware. So we're making some forward progress here. We got the radiator support all affixed to the frame with the new hardware. Installed a bracket over here for the inner fender well, and we're getting ready. Oh, we also clamped the radiator in, so the radiator is actually supported, and the radiator isn't holding the radiator support in. The radiator support is holding the radiator the way it should be. That's been like that when we took it apart for several years. Glad to see we're back the way it should be. Really excited, getting really excited over here. So close. We removed all the rusted screws from the inner fender well, and we are ready to put on the new fender on the passenger side until we found this. The light pressure out here, and the whole thing moves, if you can tell. Well, this is cracked right in here. That's just the body glue that they put on the seams. Then if you look up here, not so good. See that? See if I can get the light to stay in there. Now that crack's not supposed to be there. Something needs to happen.